Coffee time, coffee time. Yeah, this ain't your average cup of joe. Listen, I need it in the morning, I need it at night. He always keeps it brewing, he always keeps it tight. Just a little sip, it'll get you right. Terrence Pickett always be the one that gets the coffee right. The coffee's right, the coffee's right in my life. It's never a wrong time or a crime to get what's yours and to get what's mine. Come on. Coffee time in my life. Coffee time. Feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on. Time in my life. Coffee time. Feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on.
Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you're having a great morning. Hopefully you understand and value exactly what happens when you wake up in the morning. Hopefully you understand that. God puts a lot of effort into your arising in the morning by keeping death at bay, by holding your lungs and your breath in order, just to give you an opportunity to say, good morning. Woo. Tina White McPherson, good morning. Michelle Byers, good morning. Lynette Lee Walcott, good morning. Teresa Bryan, good morning. Janice Harris, my sister. What's up, lady? Good to see you. Long time no see. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Do me a favor, invite somebody to share. I'm going to dive right in, and I'm not going to waste any time. Rena Brown. Good morning. So our topic this morning is a little peculiar, but it's when Adam gives birth, healing begins. When Adam gives birth, healing begins. Sean Brooks, good morning. Trina, Natasha, good morning, my sister. Thank all of you for showing up for yet another episode of Coffee Time. I really appreciate you. Thanks for showing up. I'm going to do my best to do what I do. But I wanted you to know how important you are, because without you, there is no me. Without your ears, I have no voice. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank all of you who have supported me over the years. This thing is getting better. It's getting bigger. And I'm grateful. Out of all the people that God could have chose, he chose us. And for that, I'm grateful. So when Adam gives birth, healing begins. We know that from the beginning, according to history, according to Bible, that the birthing process did not start until after the sin or after the fall of Adam and Eve. Delta Blake, good morning. Good to see you. The Adam and Eve had been removed from the garden. So when they started to give birth, who man was intended to be and who man was had already been misplaced. Humans take on the image and likeness of the fall. Adam and Eve are the only two creatures or creations or human beings that were created in the likeness of God. So they could do stuff that we could not do. After the fall, everybody else was created after the image and likeness of a fallen man. So fallen man is in our DNA. And even though Jesus came to redeem us, buy us back, put us back in our rightful place, our spirit is saved. Our flesh will never be saved. It returns to the ground. So the part that presents the most problems for us is this flesh. It's this body. This is why we ache. We have pains. This is why we have lust. It's because this body has not been renewed. So Adam and Eve were the only two beings who didn't have a physical mother and father. Everybody else, whether you know them or not, you got a mother and you have a father. All right. When we look at Adam giving birth for the first time after God had created everything, God said it's not good to be alone. So for the first time in history, from the beginning, everything that God created, he called it good. And for the first time ever, when it comes to Adam, God finally says something is not good, something is not right. There is something that I need to give my attention to. There's something that I've done that I have to fix. So we know that when he says it is not good for man to be alone during this time, man had a job, man was working, man was occupying purpose. God's purpose for man was to till the ground, was to manage the ground, was to make sure the ground had the attention and the care that it needed. It's so much in that, y'all. First and foremost, if you meet a man who does not have the drive to work, that's not a man that you need to tie up with, because men tend to be more occupational than we are relational. A man finds his self-esteem, a man finds his worth, and a man finds value in what he does. This is why one of the first things that a man's going to tell you when he identifies himself, my name is, and I am the president of, because a man's assurance and a part of his ego is attached to what he does. Even around the house, when something gets broken, a man rises to the occasion and wants to fix it. Most men try to fix things. They try to do things instead of just calling the people that are the professionals in that particular genre of need. A man will try and fix it, because we tend to be occupational. We get our pride, we get our ego off what we do. And here's the thing, ladies, here's the thing. When a man loses his job, he loses his self-esteem. When a man loses his job, he loses his place. When a man loses his job, he loses his self-worth. Why? Because our self-worth, our ego, is attached to what we do. This is one of the reasons, again, when a man tries to identify himself, the first thing that comes out of his mouth is what he can do. Because we were created, God created us to work. In fact, in Genesis, the scripture says that God would not even complete the earth because he had no man to manage the ground. So God is showing us his need and our purpose. God says, in order for me to complete what I do, I need this man to be here to do what he does. This is why we're joint heirs with God. We're joint heirs with Jesus. So a man has to have a job, because that is how he builds his self-esteem. Oh, I'm coming for you. Just give me some time. A man, the worst thing that you can ever do is criticize a man's work. I'm not saying being critical of it in terms of constructive criticism to tell him, hey, if you do it this way, it'll come out better. No, the worst thing you can do is tell a man he works too much. Penalize him for working. God put that in him. He has to develop a balance, yes, but you should encourage him, because work keeps us out of trouble. Work keeps us away from strange things. So before God created the woman, or pulled the woman out of the man, he put Adam in place, Adam, and he gave him a job. This is why the infrastructure of family in modern times has been broken down, because the man is out of work. 40 million Americans, because of this pandemic, are out of a job. 40 million Americans are up for eviction. If there's a man involved, there's going to be a problem in this family, and this problem presents dysfunctional behavior, because when a man is misplaced, he creates or tries to find something to fill the void of the place that he once occupied. And a lot of times he's choosing the wrong thing. So Men tend to be occupational more than they are relational. Give a man a job, he's happy. The woman is just the icing on the cake. So when God looks at the man for the first time from the beginning, he's looking at this man, and this is what he says. It's not good for you to be alone. And for years, we've looked at that word alone as separate, separatism, as being isolated, as being by himself. And I've even heard how people use their imaginations to say the horses have companionship, the beast of the field had companionship, and here Adam is roaming the garden alone. He was by himself. But that's not what alone means here. This word alone is problematic. It creates issue because it points out something that many of us have missed. Now, if you've been following Coffee Time, I've covered this before, but I promise you I've never covered it in this light. When he says it's not good for man to be alone, here's what he's saying. Adam, you cannot handle where I place you. You cannot handle being independent. You cannot handle being all complete. You cannot handle being all inclusive. In other words, Adam didn't need anything, anyone. He was complete in and of himself. But God started to notice that Adam being complete in himself was not good for Adam. This is what he says. It's not good for man to be alone. That word alone in the Hebrew, it's anthropomorphic. It literally means all one. He says it's not good for you, Adam, to be just like me. So he pulled the woman out of the man. This is the first time in history that a man gives birth. A C-section. I'll let you pause and think about that for a second. And God pulls the woman out of the man. And he creates, listen carefully, he creates a need for the man so that this man can replicate himself, can duplicate himself by seeing himself. There was something, Lady T. Lovely, good morning. Good to see you. There was something that Adam needed. There was a desire that he could not express or articulate that God saw, and he gave Adam himself in physical form, and the only part of him that he changed was his womb. Lorinda Hart, good to see you this morning. Chanel Wells Bracey, good to see you this morning. Tanyita Stacy, you're such a blessing. Good to see you, sis. So for the first time, there are three things that happens. God says it's not good for man to be alone for the first time. Everything God created, if you read the book of Genesis, he says it was good. So for the first time, he says something was not good. What's not good? For man to be all inclusive, all one within himself. God says in order for you to be truly complete as a man, as a mortal body, I've got to pull out of you what I've placed in you to complete you and give you harmony, companionship, so you can duplicate after your kind. It's getting ready to get good to me. It's really getting ready to get good to me. So God pulls the woman out of the man. God never names Eve Eve. Adam named her Eve. God called Eve her original name, God called her Adam. Notice there is no separation of names because they are one. When the Bible is full of similes and metaphors, it's poetic. In some cases, the Bible is not literal. In some cases, it is. In this case, it says that he took the rib of Adam and created Eve. And for many years, we thought that Adam was walking around with one rib cage. In the original language, that word rib literally means pieces. God pulled the woman out of the man and gave her the other pieces that made the man whole. So man, if he's going to be perfect the way that God created him, he has to have a woman that looks like him. When Adam gives birth to Eve, it is God giving him a C-section. It is God splitting him open and taking pieces of him to mirror him. So it's not as if this woman doesn't have an identity. It's not that this woman is second place. It's not that this woman, she should become subservient to the man. No. From the beginning, God breaks Adam up in pieces and gives him a mirror of himself. They were equal. They led each other. The task determined the lead. God saw a greater need in generations to come, especially when it comes to replenishing the earth, that Adam could not complete by himself. So if you're going to inherit the promise of God, God says, I've got to break you up, man, and give you yourself with the womb. The woman, who is the man, is the answer to procreating in the earth. If we're going to have generations of people that resemble the Creator, God says, I'm not going to allow you to do it until I give you you. And the second you, the second person, is the first time we hear God say, and it was very good. Everything that he creates, he calls good. But when he gets to the woman, the man with the womb, when he gets to the mirror of Adam, when he gets to the pieces of Adam, he calls her very good. It's important that you hear me this morning. I promise I won't play with you. I got about 10 minutes to complete this because I'm trying to show you why our world and the United States is in trouble. The real problem on Capitol Hill is not Donald J. Trump. Oh, I would love to put all the blame on him. The real problem is not these false prophets labeled TV evangelists. The real problem is not Rod Parsley, even though he was wrong, Joyce Myers, even though she was wrong, Pat Robertson, even though he was wrong, the TBN network, even though they were wrong, the Word Network, even though they were wrong, Jensen Franklin, even though he was wrong, Paula White, even though she got no angels in Africa and South America, even though all of them are wrong, and they're quiet now. Kenneth Copeland, wrong. They miss who they proclaim to represent, and that is God. America has missed God. Let me give you this. It is scientifically proven that the body of the first humans was found in Africa. When God created man, he created him out of the dirt of the ground. It was the dirt, the first and second layer of dirt. Colors of dirt did not change until the fall. That's why it was important that Jesus' blood touched the ground. Because there are some things the ground was supposed to produce based on how God created it. So it wasn't just enough for the blood to hit our sane-filled soul. The ground had to be born again. The ground had become tainted. We see that a part of the curse is thorns and thistles would be in the ground. They weren't there before. And the sand had one color. The Bible says that Adam was reddish brown, dark in complexion. So the original humans, by definition of our current state of understanding, the original humans would be placed into the category of black and minority. Hear me and hear me good. This is not blackism. This is not black power. This is not me trying to raise one race above another, even though that's what the United States have done. This is me giving you history. By the terms of how we define things today, the original humans were black. That is essential in your understanding if you're going to follow where I'm going. So when God creates them black, the misplacement in society is that we don't see the woman as equal. The government is in disarray. I'm even told, based on some of these commentaries, these news outlets, that they've got to purge the president's personal security because most of them are Trump loyalists. Now, when you look at the president's personal security detail, to my knowledge, I stand corrected if I'm wrong, there are no women there. Listen to me. When God wanted to complete humanity, he created the woe man. When God wanted to replenish the earth, he created the woman. For the woman is the mirror of the man. And when she takes her rightful place, healing begins. There was a need in the earth to be replenished. There was a need in the earth to duplicate. According to the commandment and covenant of God, he told them, duplicate after your kind. He said, uh, uh, he looked at Adam and said, multiply, be fruitful, be productive in what you do, and multiply. Create others to do what you do. That's one of the problems with leadership. Leadership has become dictatorship, especially in the house of God, where we praise the senior leader pastor, but that pastor doesn't duplicate himself and send others out to do what God's called him to do, where we become monuments instead of movements. We become dictators. And we want slaves instead of people with bright minds and opinions. So we cut ourselves off because we don't want to hear the opinions of others. So now we have no one to challenge us as we lead. So we lead and we become dictators, even in the church, the house of God. Big Steve, good to see you, bro. Appreciate your love and support. You're a blessing to me, man. Denise Poole, good to see you. God's method of healing the earth from the beginning of time put the woman right next to the man so that they can rule in equality. The woman didn't become less than in the way that we know until after the fall. But God's original plan was for them to rule and subdue together. The world was empty. It was isolated. The only two people in the world, to our knowledge, was Adam and Eve. And God says, in order to fix this, I need you all to procreate. I need you to create people. God's method, his methodology of healing, replenishing, and subduing the earth is not through the man alone, but it's the man and the woman walking in harmony. You want to know why America has suffered? You want to know why our world is suffering? How many women do we have in leadership with these men? Now, how many women are responsible for the work that the men take credit for? So if the world is going to heal, if America is going to be saved, she has to align herself up in leadership first, and the infrastructure has to be balanced with the man and a woman walking hand in hand in harmony. Two, one can put 1,000 to flight, two, 10,000. If you talk to any man anywhere, they're successful primarily because some woman pushed them, helped them, prayed for them, or took what they had and made it better. I believe in prophecy. I don't believe in what the United States have made prophecy and the prophetic to be. I don't believe in celebrity prophets and master prophets. I don't believe in that stuff. That stuff y'all created so that you can create a bigger platform and stage to beat your chest and rule people. I don't believe in that. Senior elder and senior apostle and senior bishop. Bishop elect. First lady. Y'all created those names so that you could rule people that God called to lead. All of us are leaders. We just got to know our place. The under shepherd of the church is Jesus Christ. The chief shepherd is Jesus Christ. The under shepherd, the sheepdog, that's the leaders. But any organization that is ran without women in leadership becomes unequal, and it leans. I know that God is judging America. Part of this is judgment. Oh yes. The judgment of God doesn't look like what we think based on the Old Testament. We see where God destroyed nations. But another side of God's judgment is when he removes his hand of grace and allows what's in the heart to be seen. The exposure and the poison that is rising to the surface in America is a result of God's grace for America and his judgment. Judgment is grace. And America has an opportunity to right her wrongs, because for the first time in American history, we have a woman standing next to a man in the highest office in the world. She's not just a woman. She resembles what God created from the beginning. She's a black woman. If America is going to be healed, she has to, I'm not going to say return. No. She don't need to return because she was never there. If America is going to be healed, she has to turn to Genesis and see the blueprint for how she should look moving forward. That is, when Adam had birth, when Adam gave birth, he gave birth to a black woman and they ruled together. We're still out of balance, but we're closer than we've ever been before because we have a black woman who's vice president, who stands next to the president, who is the most powerful man in the world. This is when we can start seeing equality in this country, which was spilled through the world. Did you not know that the world takes her signs and signals from America? Did you not know that America is the only country in the world that will go take over another country, kill their leader and run their country and put a leader in place that resembles us? Did you not know that the gospel that is preached in America is transferred around the world? So America has become the lead to what happens in the world. If the world is going to heal, America has to give birth to the man and the woman walking in power together. You won't hear this in your little Sunday school classes. And most men are afraid to preach it or teach it primarily because they want to keep the woman down. They don't respect her in leadership. So this is why whenever men start talking about women leading, they don't believe a woman can lead because they're following the teachings of Paul. But what they don't know is that Paul was trying to set order in those jurisdictions, and he had to make the man the lead because the man had the strength. But Paul's doctrine does not resemble God's order, but it was necessary for that time. If we're going to be who God's called us to be, we have to go back to doing what God says. They rule together. You want a prophetic moment? Put the man and the woman in leadership together and let them rule, and it brings balance to the people. I am taking this gospel all over the world. It's a little different than what you hear in church because it's full of history, philosophy, psychology, spirituality, and truth. In order for me to do that, I need your support. My Cash App is on the screen. Your giving helps us expand. My goal is to be on several different networks. We're already syndicated with Sony, but we've got to take it further than that because it is time for the world to give birth to what God created. And that is, it's time for the woman to rise to power, not overtake the man, but the man and the woman must serve together if we're going to have godly balance in the earth. Until then, we will see chaos on every hand. I need your help. I need your support. We want to buy our way into these networks. Since they won't give us what we want, we can, if we had enough money, we could get on any television station we wanted, because the world needs to hear that God didn't make that woman second. He made her first. She is Adam. And Adam is incomplete without her. A false balance is abomination to the Lord. And until we put women in their rightful place and let them rule with the man, the world is going to be out of balance and in chaos and climbing the walls of the Capitol, busting out windows, acting like a bunch of white monkeys. Ecclesiastes says that money answers all things. And I found out that we don't lack opportunity. We lack the money to get it. I'm depending on you. Help me out. Tanyidi, that's right. Money answers all things. So I need your support and your giving, your support. Without your ears, I don't have a voice. You make this possible. You've helped me and you're responsible for where we are right now. We're going further. I'm committed and have recommitted to doing this thing right. And I need your support in the process. Cash App is on the screen. You become a monthly partner, weekly partner, a daily partner in your giving and your presence. Either way you choose to support. I need you. I thank you. I'm grateful for you. And I'm glad God called us to do life together. Remember, you were born to win, predestined to succeed. There's nothing that can happen to you today that the wisdom on the inside of you is not qualified to handle. But you got to calm down, slow down, put your emotions aside, use emotional intelligence, trust God, and let wisdom speak. When wisdom speaks, you will always win. Listen, you go have a productive day. Ladies, don't you let no man rule you. You're called to rule with him. Balance is power. Y'all have a great day and remember to think higher, speak life. Don't go nowhere. Stay right here.
Coffee time, coffee time. Yeah, this ain't your average cup of joe. Listen, I need it in the morning, I need it at night. He always keeps it brewing, he always keeps it tight. Just a little sip, it'll get you right. Terrence Pickett always be the one that gets the coffee right. The coffee's right, the coffee's right in my life. It's never a wrong time over crime to get what's yours and to get what's mine. Come on. Coffee time in my life. Coffee time feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on.